The Pentagon war planners have rightfully said that 90% of modern warfare is informational. That's why it's more important than ever that all of you watching subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at Real Alex Jones, because InfoWars is the front line of the fight. And without your help and support, we will fail. With your support and with your prayers, we will be victorious against the globalists together.
Before we run out of time, I want to take a look at this story from Mint Press, because, you know, we've had this contest here at InfoWars. CNN is ISIS because of Kathy Griffin holding up the severed head of Donald Trump. Well, you know, ISIS and Al-Qaeda, they're the same thing, aren't they? And we have Al-Qaeda propagandist has been employed by CNN to make a prize-winning Syrian documentary. What a surprise that the network that is so closely associated with the military-industrial complex and the CIA would use an Al-Qaeda propagandist to film their award-winning documentary. Yet another controversy for the embattled network, this is coming from Mint Press, has come to light in the making of its award-winning Undercover in Syria documentary. The documentary revolves around CNN reporter Clarissa Ward's quote-unquote undercover trip to extremist-held portions of Aleppo that pushed for a Western intervention in Syria last year, and it places the blame for the city's suffering on the Russian, Syrian, and Iranian governments. After the documentary aired, Ward was invited by then U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Samantha Power, that was Obama's ambassador, to testify on her experiences in rebel-held Aleppo. However, CNN hired a known member of Al-Qaeda. His name is Bilal Abdul Karim, in order to obtain the on-the-ground footage that they use in the documentary and to assist the CNN reporter in getting access to rebel territories. This is something that other journalists had been killed for trying to do, but she was able to get into these areas because she knew the Al-Qaeda people who were running them and used this to produce their documentary and to produce the narrative that people like John McCain and the CIA and Obama want you to see. The agenda that pushes regime change, and what will follow is chaos rather than coming after ISIS. This is ISIS that is working with CNN to do this documentary. It said the network has recently sought to distance itself from its key source on the ground after the documentary started picking up awards. He noticed this and he tweeted it out. He said on Twitter, he said, a piece that I filmed with CNN won Overseas Press Club and Peabody Awards, but CNN quote unquote, forgot to mention me, but I'm smiling. Yeah, you don't forget to mention people who contribute to a movie unless they happen to be Al-Qaeda contributors and you're CNN, and then you don't want people to know that. CNN, as they point out, likely didn't forget him, but instead intentionally chose to exclude his name once it gained fame, as he is a well-known English-language propagandist for Jabhat al-Nusra, otherwise known as the al-Nusra Front, which is the Syrian branch of Al-Qaeda, which is the same as ISIS, folks. I mean, we got all these different names, but you have to understand what it is. While he denied being affiliated with Al-Qaeda, he said in a Facebook video, he says, I am not, nor have I ever been, nor do I need to be a part of Al-Qaeda. I don't have any need for that. Nevertheless, his privileged access to al-Nusra members, being able to get the CNN reporter into places where other reporters are killed, and territory suggests this, just the opposite. They said the video where he denies ties to Al-Qaeda, he also states that the reason he has not faced the same dangers as other journalists in the al-Nusra territory, the territory that is held by Al-Qaeda, is because of mutual respect between him and Al-Qaeda. And Al-Qaeda's host, U.S. jihadist Bilal Abdul Karim, put him on their Ramadan show. He's just been praised by al-Nusra's religious leader as our media man just last month, even though his denial of ties to the groups are coming out there. So Al-Qaeda says he's our media man, and CNN uses him for their documentary. Now, see, they lie to us in so many different ways. I've got all of my liberal Facebook friends back in North Carolina are passing around this article from the Washington Post saying that Sweden is the best country in the world to be an immigrant. My wife sent this to me and said, can you believe that they are this ignorant about what is going on in Sweden? I said, yes, absolutely I can, because none of that is ever told by the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, all these other groups. They want to hide that information from you. This is a new ranking of the best countries to be an immigrant, has placed Sweden in the top spot. That's especially if you like to have your pick of blonde, blue-eyed girls that you can rape at will because they're just asking for it. You know, those non-Muslim women. And they say Sweden has become a popular destination for refugees from Africa. And as I've pointed out many times, you want to talk about refugees from Africa, the Muslims that are there, they have Little Mogadishu, an area that is so out of control criminally that they have to bust the police in with armed escorts. And they've created a massive fortress there. And of course, we're creating our own little Mogadishu right here in Minneapolis. And even though the press wants to cover this up, and even though we have the government trying to cover up situations like what happened in Sweden and what happened in Cologne, Germany on the New Year's celebrations, we have that here in America as well. San Francisco Transit is now withholding surveillance tapes to avoid creating racial stereotypes. See, if you're criminals, they don't want people to see this, even though they've got 40 to 60 teenagers, at one instance, getting on a train and robbing 7 passengers, beating up 2. Then another incident, they had 4 teens assaulting a passenger. 2 days later, a dozen teens snatched the phone of a woman on the train. But the transportation system there, BART, has said that they're not going to publish surveillance footage because it would create a negative racial perception. They don't want you to understand. That's why the story we had today from Paul Joseph Watson saying Reuters is banning words like terrorist and Islamist because it's not politically correct. It wasn't enough for them to take away undocumented immigrants. That's not even good enough for them. These are people who are struggling to enter Europe, struggling to enter our country. Stay with us. We're going to have Owen Schroyer, and he's going to be looking at Democrats who refuse to disown the website that publishes satanic porn.
We're selling a product, DNA Force, that is the very best nutraceutical that we can produce. Dr. Group, you took years for you to develop DNA Force for us.
It's been something that I've been working on for a long time, Alex, because I think it's very, very important. What the aging process is when the cell replicates, we lose a little bit of our telomeres. Telomeres are the little cups on the end of our chromosomes.
And when it runs out, you start dying.
We chose the PQQ because it has over 175 different clinical trials. It's one of the most effective substances in the world. It works like an antioxidant. It works to repair nerve growth factor.
So this is a formula to deliver the maximum amount. It's in powder form.
We have so many 5-star reviews. I take this. This is the product that I take.
InfoWarsLife.com, and the profit we make, we fight the globals. We fight the New World Order. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.